What is going on, guys? My name is Dr. LOIN and welcome to the official Rust in Minecraft server tutorial. Now, before we get started, I just want to briefly mention that if you play the actual version of Rust Legacy in particular, this will be a lot easier for you to grasp right off the bat. However, it is still in your best interest to watch through the entire course of this video because there are certain things that operate a bit differently in Rust MC than they would in the normal game. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So the first thing you'll notice when you join the server is that it will prompt you to download a custom resource pack, and it will dump you into this Rust MC welcome screen server hub from which you can choose to join one of 7 different server mirrors. I'm going to go ahead and jump into server number 2. Okay, so now that we're in the game itself, the first thing you'll notice is that you spawn completely naked with only a rock, 2 bandages, and a torch to defend yourself. If you're unfamiliar with Rust, the thing you should know is that the only objective in this game is simply to survive against the wilderness, wild animals, and other players. You do so by gathering various resources such as this wood pile right here, which I will gather with my rock, and use to build various items such as weapons, base materials, etc. Okay, so this is the other kind of resource pile. This is a pile of sulfur and stone ore. We're going to go ahead and harvest it. The other kind of ore pile that you will find will give you stone and metal ore. As you can see, I've got a little bit of both in my inventory right here, both of which are useful for crafting items and weapons. So here's the first animal that we've come across. Luckily, this one does not want to kill us because it's a harmless chicken, which we can attack and kill if we can actually manage to hit it. I'm lagging a bit because the internet connection here is terrible, so it might prove a little bit more tricky. Okay, we killed it. So now we go inside and we get chicken breast and cloth. So we're going to try and kill this rad bear and see if it drops anything good, because it will drop items if you manage to kill it. And we killed it, so let's see what it dropped. Some gunpowder. Unfortunately, he grabbed everything before I could see it. Another thing you'll notice is that when people die, they leave a backpack behind on the ground. This person just had noob stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and take his bandages because I need them. Now I'm going to show you how the bandages work. I'm going to go ahead and climb this staircase, and then I'm going to jump off as if I were attempting to get onto the roof of that house, and I miss it. Now, I just broke my legs and I'm bleeding. So the first thing we're going to have to do is use a bandage by selecting it and right-clicking. Now, I'm not bleeding anymore, but my legs are still broken, so my speed is severely slowed and it's as if I'm permanently crouched. The only way to fix your legs is just to wait until they get healed. Here we have our first enemy to fight a battle with, our first human enemy, that is. Looks like he does not want any part of this, so he's going to go ahead and run away. Unfortunately, I'm bleeding, so we're going to have to use our bandage to heal ourselves. And he just got killed by a rad bear, which is freaking hilarious. I'm going to go ahead and grab his stuff. But now I'm getting slaughtered by the rad wolf, which is chasing me at this point, so I'm going to run away from that. I'm holding control to permanently sprint. If you didn't know about that trick, it's very helpful, as well as holding the jump button like you would in normal Minecraft to go even faster while you're running. One of the most important things to be aware of in Rust are the radiation zones. When you enter one, a notification on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen will appear, letting you know that you've entered a dangerous area where radiation will start building up on your body and eventually poison you if it reaches over 500 rads. You can see the rad meter below my food and health on the right side of the screen. Now, within these rad zones, there are loot crates where you can find various items, blueprints, etc. Now, the only way to cure yourself of radiation poisoning once you have it is either by escaping the radiation zone and sitting next to a campfire long enough for the rads to go away, or if it's really bad, you can consume rad pills, if I can even pick them up because it's lagging like hell. Anyways, even if I don't get a chance to eat these for you, these are what you'll need to get. You just consume those and they cure your rads. An important thing to keep in mind when you are opening chests is that you are unable to do it while you're holding a tool. You can do it with a rock, but a hatchet is not going to work, so either have an empty hand or wield a rock, something like that. Now, something that's really handy for navigating if you happen to get lost or need to find someone is by using the F3 menu, which will show you coordinates on the left-hand side, as well as the direction you are facing. Another handy feature that you can do in Rust MC is privately message people, which is very simple. You just press T to talk, then you type /MSG, and then the person's name. So if I'm going to talk to Dove PvP, I type that, then I do a space, and I type my message. Now to make it easier for me, I'm just going to Control-All, Control-Copy. So anytime I need to, I can just press T and then Control-V to paste, and then I can type my message. Like so. Now that Dove PvP and I have found a relatively secluded place to start building a shelter, I'm going to show you how the crafting works. First thing you're going to need to do is press T to chat, then you're going to type /craft, which will bring up this menu. To get started, you're going to have to go to Refined Materials, then go to Wood Planks, and make as many as you possibly can, pretty much. I'm just going to go ahead and type 1,000, even though I don't actually have enough materials to make that, because it will max out the amount that I'll craft. As you can see, that timer on the bottom of my screen is showing the progress, and it shouldn't take too long to make all these. It is 10 wood for 1 wood plank. Now you can see I've got plenty of wood planks already because we've been sitting here gathering for quite a while, and I've got some base materials already made. But before we get started on building, I just want to show you how to create the materials for the base. You're going to have to type /craft again, then go into wood building parts, and you're going to start with foundation, and then you're going to need pillars, walls, doorway, and ceiling. Obviously, eventually you're going to need wood stairs, possibly windows. I do not recommend putting windows on the bottom story. If you need to go back in the crafting menu, click this little back arrow, and that will take you up 1 level. So, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff in my hotbar. And I'm going to go ahead and build off of the foundation that is already here to help save materials. So I'm going to place this foundation right here. It's a bit tricky when you're placing them on existing foundations. You got to make sure it's blue, which essentially just means you have to look down at the floor and place it like so with the right click. Now I'm going to start placing pillars. Got to make sure that you place them on the corners of the foundation and not towards the center, because if you do that, that will prevent you from putting a wall across the gap. So we've got the beginnings of our first 1x1. Now the walls go here, like so. The doorway will go there. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a ceiling on the roof, or on the top of this, by looking into the corner and right-clicking once again. So we've got the basic skeleton of our shelter. As you can see, it's going to take a lot more resources to get something formidable as a defense. One thing to keep in mind is when you are crafting, say if I go and build some wood materials, say some stairs right here, and I accidentally type 1,000 or something that is more than I want to make, what I can do is type /C or /cancel to halt my crafting and prevent myself from using the materials I did not want to make. Alright, now that the structure is starting to take shape, I'm going to have to fill it with some useful items, starting with a workbench, which is under manufacturing. A workbench requires 50 wood and 8 stones. I'm going to go ahead and make one. Now, once we have a workbench, what that will allow us to do is craft things faster, as well as craft things that require a workbench. And one thing I forgot to mention before is that when you are crafting, it acts as if you have broken legs in order to slow you down and not have you running around at full speed while you're crafting stuff. So let's just wait a couple more seconds for this to finish. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just place this. Let's see. Guess I'll place it in the corner right here. Okay, perfect. So now things will speed up when we craft them, and the next logical step would be to make a furnace, which is also under manufacturing. However, we do not have the low-grade fuel that we need because we are just short on the amount of animal fat that we'll need to make the low-grade fuel. In order to make low-grade fuel, you go into refined materials and low-grade fuel. So after we were to get a furnace, what we would do is fill it with our ore so we can start refining it and making metal fragments and sulfur, etc. Alright, so now that I've managed to build a furnace, I'm going to turn it on and use it to refine my ore. So you simply right-click on the furnace, make sure you have something that's not a hatchet in order to open it. You can see I've already put my metal ore in there. It's very simple. You just click the items that you want to put. Sorry, I can't put the metal fragments. Let's add the sulfur ore. Just click on it once, and then you click on the wood. So this is the fuel that's in here, and then this is the materials. And you just click on the middle to turn it on. Now it will start crafting, and anything that's refined will show up on the bottom area down here. Besides a furnace, obviously what we'd need is a sleeping bag so we can spawn at our base if we happen to die. You can make a sleeping bag and a bed. I think a bed is a bit better, but it requires more materials. And of course, we'd want some storage. So under storage, you can make a small storage box and a large storage box. But the thing with the large storage box is that you either have to find a blueprint for it or get a research kit and study a large storage box if you happen to find one. So you need a research kit and a large wood storage box. Those are things that you would find in either Rad Animal Loot or Rad Town Loot. I don't have either one at this point, and because there's quite a lot of items, I'm not going to go into every single item and how to make it. I recommend you just look up a Rust Legacy crafting guide, as that will show you basically everything you need for Rust MC. When it comes to sleeping bags, it's handy to know that if you have already placed a sleeping bag, you are capable of picking it up again by right-clicking it. And essentially, when you place a sleeping bag, that sets that location to your home. So if you die, you are given the chance to respawn at your bed instead of spawning randomly on the map like you normally would. When it comes to doorways, you are capable of crafting a wood door with 20 wood, but I strongly advise you to just go for metal if you can. It costs 200 metal fragments to make a metal door, and it's located under metal building parts. So I'm just going to click here and make one. Okay, so now that our metal door is crafted, we can go over to the doorway and place it. There we go. Okay, so now to set a code, you stand in front of the door and you type /setcode, all one word, and then you enter 4 numbers. Now, if someone wants to gain access to your door, they stand in front of it and they type enter code and the same 4 numbers. It's been quite a long day of building and crafting, and as you can see by the meters on the right hand side of my screen, I'm starting to starve to death as my food level is red. Now, that means I will slowly lose health over time, And in order to fix that problem, I have to first craft a campfire, which is under manufacturing where the furnace is. It costs 10 wood, which is pretty darn cheap. It's one of the first things that you would logically make because you need it to cook your food. You can see that I've already got some cooked food in my inventory anyways, but for the purposes of this, I'm just going to show you how to use a campfire. It's basically the same as a furnace, although I often see people asking questions about how to use it. So I'm just going to make sure that you understand this 100%. Now that our crafting is completed, we're going to go ahead and place the campfire right next to the workbench. There we go. Now I right-click to open it like usual, and I just click on the raw meat, which I actually don't have any of in this room, so I have to get it real quick. Just bear with me. It's in here. Open the campfire. Now I just click on the raw chicken, left click once, and then I can add some wood. So I'm going to split that wood. I'm going to left click that once. Oh no, never mind. I forgot that when you right click it just automatically adds the stack. Anyways, now I just turn it on like I would a furnace, and it's going to slowly cook it. So the raw stuff goes up here, the fuel goes here, and then when it's cooked, it will end up right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and eat. So you just select it and hold right click, and you'll basically just eat them like crazy. Hey, Cash Villain. Nice teleport. That's quite cool. An important thing to know about the way Rust works is that when you disconnect from the game, your body still stays there. I'm going to have Dove disconnect to show you an example of that. Okay, see how his skin has changed to the default skin? That means that he is what they call a sleeper. Now, if you find sleepers in the field, you can kill them and take their items. So remember that. You are never safe in this game, even when you're not playing, unless you have a massive base with tons of protection that will prevent people from getting to your sleeper easily. Now, we already covered bandages, so I'm just going to briefly explain medkits. Right here, I've got a large medkit. There is also a small variant, which is red in color, and they actually stop bleeding and heal you, as opposed to only stopping the bleeding like bandages do. So you will definitely need these if you plan to go into combat and actually heal yourself. Blueprints are plans for different items that you cannot craft right off the bat. You have to find them in loot crates in rad towns on other players, or loot crates from rad animals. Basically, the way they work is you just pick them up, you put them in your hotbar, then you right click once and right click again to confirm researching it. So now if I go into the crafting menu, you can see that under armor, I'm now capable to craft Kevlar pants, which cost 4 low quality metal and 4 leather. In addition to blueprints, there are items called research kits, which allow you to research anything you can't normally craft without needing to find the blueprint for it. A very important thing to keep in mind about research kits is that they themselves can be researched. So as you can see, I've got 2 research kits here, which I highly recommend getting before you research anything with a research kit. So you can just right click the research kit when it's in your hotbar and then select research kit. So now I can make research kits. So at any point in time, if there's something I don't have a blueprint for, I can just craft a research kit and research it that way without having to look far and wide for the blueprint. I'm going to go ahead and research the C4 that we got, because that is definitely the rarest item that we've found up to this point. Okay, now it's time to talk about weapon mods. As you can see right here, I've got an M4. I'm going to wield that, and while I'm holding it, I'm going to type in chat /gun. This brings up a equip menu from which I can add any kind of weapon attachments such as a hollow sight, a silencer, etc. So I'm just going to go and drag that into, and now it should be equipped. So what I can do is hold Shift to look down the sight and aim with it. One of the most interesting features of Rust is the ability to call and have airdrops spawn randomly. I was lucky enough to have been given a supply signal by the owner of the server, which I'm going to call right now. Wow, that looks really cool, doesn't it? So we should be getting our drop in a couple seconds here. Just waiting for it. Hey, what do you know? The supply plane is a Ender Dragon. And it actually dropped 3 crates. That's pretty darn lucky. Let's hope we get some good stuff when they finally fall. Okay, that's pretty crappy to be honest. Let's hope that there's some C4 and explosives in this one. Really? Same thing? Just metal base pieces? Okay, looks like we're gonna have to go up to the top of the base to get the other one. Okay, we got the explosives. Hallelujah. So the other way that an airdrop will happen on the server is if there's at least 15 players online at one time, and they will just spawn randomly at various locations. When that happens, on the left-hand side of the screen, you will see a notification which gives you the approximate coordinates of the drop. One thing you want to keep in mind about using guns in Rust MC is that instead of using left-click to fire your weapon, it's right-click. Then, when you want to reload, you look at the ground and left-click. That is the most efficient way to reload your clip. Rust MC also has several other custom chat commands, such as /vote, which allows you to vote in 5 different links that will take you to an external website where you enter your Minecraft username and solve 5 CAPTCHA image questions in order to earn credits, which will allow you to buy different rewards from the voting shop. You can also support the server directly by typing in /buy and choosing from 6 different donation options, which will give you various perks such as sped up gather rates and a custom tag next to your name like VIP or Premium. Another useful command that you should know in Rust MC is holding Tab to view the players that are currently logged into your server. Well, that does it for this tutorial, folks. You may have noticed that I uploaded a draft version of this project a couple weeks before I did the final in order to get some preliminary feedback and see if there was anything that I forgot to cover when I was filming. And the 2 best suggestions that I got were a clip about how to maintain proper base defense, as well as a clip about how to raid. And after thinking long and hard about the project, I decided that it was better overall just to make those as 2 separate tutorial videos, which will be linked here and here when they're finally completed. Keep in mind, that's going to take a lot longer than a normal gaming episode, at least in terms of Let's Plays, etc. But when they are up, say if you're coming back to this video to review, or you're just discovering my content now, and you see those 2 links, definitely check those out. They will make your life much easier. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching this video. Once again, my name is Dr. LOIN. I really appreciate all the support, and I hope this was super helpful and enjoyable. If you really did enjoy it and it helped you a lot, please consider leaving a like rating to show your support, as well as sharing this with friends, checking out all the other videos that I've done, and subscribing if you want to stay up to date with all the uploads, see what's coming next, assuming that you haven't subscribed already.